Hey, we're live. Fantastic. Hello, everyone. I hope this is going to be something of a treat. I'm really looking forward to sharing this actually. Something quite different that's based on something traditional. And it's a kind of new innovation I think that I've come up with. I haven't seen that anybody else has come up with this. I don't know whether the chat box is working for me. I don't know. Are you able to type something and I can just. Is it working? Oh, it is brilliant. Oh, no problem. Thank you, Eric. Well, I hope you'll enjoy trying this one. It's a good challenge. Hello, Penny, Adrian, and Eric. So lovely to thank you for joining briefly or not. Yes. Yeah, I think this will be a treat. Something I've been fascinated by, something I've built up the courage to do, and then I found it trickier than I expected. And then I was just playing around and I suddenly had an idea. And as I said, I don't think anyone else has done it. Stephen, lovely to have you. Money, so good to have you as well. So for this one, I would recommend maybe even you can use origami paper, but actually I'm going to use sort of A4 paper, slightly thicker than normal, just a tiny bit. So don't use very thin paper or it'll tear. You will need a pair of scissors, but you'll see why. I think you'll find it's for very reasonable reasons, those of you who are really into origami. So, yes, it's something traditional. I will start very gently sharing a little bit. Of course, people will be coming along, but I was given this and I just thought I was fascinated by it. Obviously, it's in Japanese, at least I presume. Maybe it's Korean, I'm not sure. Connected cranes, and they are fascinating and beautiful and kind of mind-boggling. And just this picture alone, these two together, it was obvious then how to do it, sort of. Have any of you ever tried connected cranes? So this idea of folding from just one piece of paper, but as you can see, you need tiny little slots cut in there in order to be able to fold each crane. Now, I naively thought it's going to be fine. I know how to fold a crane. And it's much harder than it looks. This is from someone exceedingly skilled, extremely skilled. And I can't say I've got anything at all like that, but I come up with something a little bit different, which I'll be showing you in a few minutes. Oh, it is amazing. So here you can see how it's really just a series of squares. It's cut from one piece of paper and you do a little tiny slot. So obviously everything's attached. It is a really hard thing to do, and I'd say this is probably for only someone very experienced in origami. But you know what? It's nice to throw in a challenge. Definitely for this, you need to be very familiar with folding a crane, which of course is tricky in its own right. But for once, I thought I'd throw in something a little bit harder. So just to show you my experiment. So I started off trying to do this. I have to say, just starting with 4, I thought it'd be easy. My goodness. It's really not that easy at all. But I found it sort of almost contorts quite a lot. I didn't know that I really liked the effect that much. It's certainly nowhere near as just perfect and beautiful as this. I mean, I think the connections there are very, very tiny. But as soon as you're connecting little bits of paper are narrow, then you're very likely to tear. Once it tears, it's lost. So yeah, it's not easy at all. But what I was doing, I found actually I really liked just 2 together. I thought 2 were sweet because they almost look like 2 little friends together. And that's what gave me the idea. So here you can see, and it took me a while to see what becomes connected to what as well. But here's the first. I did a pair of cranes and I thought that was quite nice. I like the feeling of 2 little friendly cranes, which is from one piece of paper. But I suddenly had the idea that you could, in the cutting here, if I just did a pair, I thought I could, you know what, I could leave a little heart cut in there. And so this is what I'm going to teach you. I couldn't see that anyone else has done this. Maybe they have, maybe they haven't. But so this is what I'm going to try to show you, at least the principle. But it's my own little innovation based on this wonderful, obviously traditional fold, and I guess it's quite traditional connected crate. I don't know actually. I don't know if any of you know when connected crane start, but I certainly know it's meant to be one of those tricky things, and it's only in doing it that I could do it. Maybe. Maybe you could do it as modular. But it's fun to keep it as a challenge from a single piece of paper. It's very tricky. So the rectangle that we're going to cut, we're going to make a little slot, but we're going to leave the shape of a heart, which then comes through at the end. Now, I did initially try colouring in the heart before the folding, and that's not a good idea because it weakens the paper, and I found it could lead to a broken heart, and we don't want that. But yeah, what do you think? I don't think I've seen anyone do this, but to me, it just expresses everything as to what I love about origami, the connection between people, and that's come through that time together and care, and this is to be passed on. So we'll have a go. I'll show you the principles. You may not do it within this session, but I can at least get you started. I'll also share a video on Saturday, one where I talk it through, and I filmed another of just folding it. So yeah, I'll try and share the principle as to how to do this. If you'd like to have a go, it's an ambitious one. So grab yourself some paper. Have any of you seen anybody fold a crane with a heart? Just my own thought that it would be possible. So there's a little bit of origami in there, but that's what you need to do connected cranes. So I would recommend doing a really big square. So if you do have A4 or letter paper, making a square out of the whole thing, like so. Obviously being nice and accurate. That's it. And then obviously removing that rectangle. So turning it over and bringing it back. And you'll need scissors because we need to cut out the slots in order for you to fold from one piece of paper. So, have any of you tried connected cranes before? Is this something any of you have done before? It's hard. That's it. Right. So I'm undoing this. I'm going to remove that rectangle. So you could try doing from origami paper. I think the bigger it is, possibly the easier it is as to what you're doing, at least to start with. Made a square. I'm just going to fold it in half. So this is obviously always devoted to my colleagues at UCLH and patients, loved ones. And also this is inspired by Yomatomo. Hello, Lady Frog. So if you find, possibly make a big square of paper, and then we're about to divide it in half. I'm going to at least try to show you the principles as to how to make connected cranes. So one piece of paper with a heart in between. So it's all one thing. My own recent innovation. So turning it over, I'm just making this a rectangle first of all. And I'll wait to be sure that you're all ready. There we go. Tiny bit raggedy. My pot. Hope you're keeping well, Lady Frog. So I will wait until you're all saying you're ready. So just want a rectangle. Anyone made connected cranes before? I was very naive. It's very hard. That picture just is so incredible. I think the more if you try it yourself, the more you find it's just like, that is incredible. Any of you know anything about connected cranes? I'd be very curious. But I was just a bit fascinated by it, really. So I will wait until I hear that you're ready with your rectangle. Great. I've never. Fantastic. Good to share some new things. I went to the Amazing Origami Museum in Spain, and yeah, there's some. I remember seeing some good. Oh wow, never saw some good connected cranes there. I think it's sort of stuck in my mind since. Really, is it possible to do it with one piece of paper? Wow. So as I said, this may well end up being something that you will have to continue yourself. I will try and show, but obviously it's, you know, it's a long old process. You have to be very patient with yourself and maybe a few times. Ah, fantastic. Fantastic. So new experience shared together then. Right. So first of all, if you think about it, oh, Jess, welcome. Oh, wow. No problem. Yeah, probably this is a good one for watching. Lovely to have you. It's a little bit of a tricky one. So if you want to have a go at this, I would recommend thoroughly practicing folding cranes first of all. But we'll give it a go. And as I said, obviously this is recorded, but also I've recorded a film explaining, as well as a film just filming hands, which will come out on Saturday. So you will be able to give it a go. So first of all, we're going to do like a sort of cross at one end, cross at the other end. We're just forming the base of the cranes. So yeah, I wonder who started with the connected cranes. I mean, I presumed it was traditional, but honestly, I don't know. Of course, it's based on the traditional. And then with the other one. So you're just giving this crisscross on one side. Like so. Opening that up. I need to do my other way. Great. Penny, have you ever done connected cranes? You're so experienced. Yeah. So hopefully like that. I will only move on until someone says, yes, we're ready. So it's a sort of crisscross each side. Oh, really? Ooh, nice. What, the connected cranes, Lady Frog? Wow, wow. No, never. Penny, wow. You're in for a treat. In for a challenge, actually. Yeah, the paper's actually stronger than you think. You have to go very carefully once you get folding because they're connected. Fantastic. Thank you, Adrienne. Right, I'm going to presume that we're ready to go on to the next step. So effectively, we're folding the base for 2 cranes. We're only doing 2, we're not doing 6. But I think for this, it's really nice meeting and a heart. Great. So turning it over, and we're just going to fold it in half that way. This is the base of the crane. Yeah, as I said, normally the connected cranes, they're connected and you can make a little flock. But I suddenly thought you could include in the cutting of the slots a heart. Opening it up. And then I'm going to do the other fold through the middle there, because this is the base of your crane. Like so. Don't touch the middle yet. It's slippery. And then that one up there. So something like that. It's like a mouth. Hello, hello. This brings out your playful side. It's not origami. So opening it up. Are you ready? So normally I say strong folds. For the next fold, not strong, because the stronger that fold is, the more likely it is to rip later on. So we need it to be connected. Great. So we're going to do halfway, but don't do it too strong. Don't use your nail or anything, just softly folding it. Okay, so just folding it in half. Like that. So I've just softly folded it. There we go. Right, you'll need some scissors next. So in order to do connected cranes, you need little slots. I hadn't realised how to do connected cranes until I saw this diagram. I thought that was great. So we're going to make little slots. So normally with the slots, what you would do, and I found you do need to give it a nice little shape. Normally go from sort of up here, slot all the way down here, like that. But I realised that you can leave a little heart shape. So this is what we're going to do next. Make sure the 2 halves are nicely together. I found it can slip and then your heart's not right. So to do the heart, I'm going to do something like this. Don't know whether you can see. So I've done something like that. See if you can cut that sort of shape. So don't bring it all the way. This will be the bit that connects the cranes. So I've done the start of a heart around there, but two, leaving a point there. The next cut will be along there to give the bottom of your heart. Give a point. And with that bottom area, I'm then going to smooth it off down there. So something like that. That's going to be the bottom of the heart. You can just check and open it up. See how it's doing. That's the bottom of my heart, and you can see the top of the heart there. How's it going for you? This is going to be a sort of tricky bit where you go, oh, what am I doing? Once you've done the top of the heart, oh, fantastic, Philip. Thank you for joining. That's so nice. Well, you're always a colleague. Oh, thank you. Fantastic. Well, that's so nice. Thank you for joining. Very good to have you. Thank you for saying as well. It's really nice that impact of that time and support UCLH stays with you. And of course, I've continued. I'm actually working every other week back in UCLH, which is a real treat. I have to say, I'm loving getting back in the wards. But actually being able to keep up this blend is really good. So yeah, it's nice not to have lost this as well, because I think it also has benefits. And it's great to hear that a colleague is able to, or even if they're an ex-colleague, still wants a colleague. So next I'm going to cut up this. I'm afraid, Philip, this is a really tricky one that I'm trying. It's my own innovation based on a sort of classic thing where you can fold from Queen Square. Oh, nice. That's so nice. Thank you for sharing that, Philip. It's really nice to hear that. Well, I hope you're doing well. Thank you for all the work you do for others. So I'm just going to work up here. So what I'm doing is I'm cutting a slot. Can you see I've left behind that heart shape? You could experiment with other things, I guess. You could include, but heart's a lovely symbolic thing. I actually did a wellbeing session recently for colleagues in Queen Square. And I guess so much of your work with people recovering from that kind of injury, potentially from COVID as well, whether that's also been there. So as you sort of open it, that's the kind of effect that you want. So that there's the heart there. There's a slot, it's attached. You don't want it too narrow because it's likely to break. And if it's too wide, it's quite hard to fold from. There we go. So something like that. Don't colour the heart in yet because it's likely otherwise to break, I found. How are you doing? I'm going to wait for you to get to a point where you feel, because I don't want to leave you all behind. As I said, this may be something that actually you have to sort of work on with a bit of time. So great, Manny, you're good. Excellent. Yeah. I was reading actually about, the sort of trauma from the pandemic as to how, it looks like lives are moving on, but actually how we haven't, any of us quite, and actually how it can actually be a real strength to have continued those good kind of links and connections that we've had during that time. And actually that kind of keeps us a little bit sane as well, which I kind of identified with, because obviously this I've kept going, and I also run a sort of little poetry and music group, and we've kept that going, and it's been a real source of strength actually. There we go. Yeah, and alas, and our family have been affected by long COVID, so it continues to be really difficult. There we go. Right, so all happy? Let's give it a go. So what you want to do is pop it to the position. I guess I'm putting my finger behind that middle, pushing it forward. So you can see it's going to form this square shape. As I said, this is only if you're quite accomplished, to be honest. Origami, making cranes is your essential bit here. But I'm pushing these pieces together to make a square. And you need to be practiced at your cranes, first of all, in order to try this. And it is tricky, but I had hoped you'd like the heart innovation there. So you can see the heart there. We're going to fold a crane around the heart and have them linking together. Oh, actually, yes, I did. Oh, St Thomas, fantastic. Actually, recently I ran a workshop for an event which happened in St Thomas's. I'd never been there before. I was really blown away. Oh my goodness, the location is incredible. So it's just across from the Houses of Parliament, the most incredible view. Also, all of those hearts that people have left, remembering people who've died from COVID, is really touching. Yes, St Thomas is fantastic. Amazing sort of marble statue of Queen Victoria and things. So I was running a workshop, origami workshop, for people who had a patient experience, and that was just fantastic. It was a real treat. No, I hadn't been there before. So, oh, glad you're very much central London there, aren't you? It's great. I hope you're enjoying it a lot. It's lovely for you that you've joined me. Thank you. Lovely to hear the impact that's made. Right, so the folding, right, it took me a little bit to get which way to fold the paper, because which way is going to be the wing, which way is going to be the head. So we're just going to fold one side first of all. So we actually want to do the sort of folding bit, which becomes the wings at the side. So these sides, not this face. So I just want you to turn a page, and it's going to be this side that we fold from. And if you fold the page at the front, then you probably want to do the same thing at the back, so they're equal. So I'm going to take the side, and as I said, this is really just if you're very well experienced in making cranes, but it is just making a crane, just this side towards the middle line. Great. Yeah, so I hadn't been to St Thomas's before. It was a really special day. It was very lovely. It was such a gift. There's bottom edge to the middle, and actually it's quite rare that I do things actually sort of in person, particularly as a big group. It was just lovely to see lots of smiling faces, and everyone was so focused on doing the origami and thinking about well-being. It was really beautiful. One of those really magical moments, and it was just near the Queen Victoria statue inside, so it was a very special location. There we go, and then onto the back. There we go. And bringing that to the middle there. Oh yes, if it was kind of, I think it was a one-off there, but Philip, you're always welcome to email me. You know, like the NHS email. So it would be lizzie.burns@nhs.net. So you'll be able to get in touch. You're welcome to do that. Yeah, obviously I'm careful just to respond to NHS people. So, but you can get me that way. You can look me up on that system. Yeah, do. So I think that was a one-off there, but do feel free to be in touch. It's really lovely to hear that, you know, offering this, because it's very hard to know online whether it ever has any impacts on colleagues. So it's really special to hear that. Thank you. So this top triangle, if you just fold it forwards, and then we're going to open up the layers. This is almost a sort of watching one, really, possibly, if you're finding it tricky. You'll soon see it gets interesting. So opening up the layers, this is like making a crane, but the end is attached to the other side. So it's a little bit like contortion. Let me see. Philip, I don't normally do something as complicated, but I thought, why not? So opening up, but of course it's connected to the other one. So you just have to go very patiently. You're rolling in the sides, which is what you'd normally do for a crane. As I said, you need to really practice a lot doing a crane, because you can't really see what I'm doing because it's attached. But what I'm trying to do is bring in the sides. As I said, if this is something that you consider this the start of a project. Can't see, can you? But underneath there, we'll see on the back, which actually you will be able to see. Holding that, opening the edges. And this is okay because this side's not attached. So it's just like doing a normal crane. But the attached sides are tricky. There we go. That's it. So we're going to work on the one crane and then go on to the other one. You can see there's a heart there, folding the crane, and you've obviously got the wing ones at the top, the leggy bits here, and as you normally would with the crane, folding the outside bit to the middle to tighten it up. And of course it's a little bit trickier when you've got it attached to another. So the paper's kind of, strong, but obviously just going slowly and treating it all with respect. And obviously you can't put it down on the table as maybe you might normally fold. There we go. Well, Philip, I don't know if you ever use Twitter. I'm on there at Dr. Lizzie Burns and share lots there, or Facebook. I set out, you can't see the side, can you? Folding that to the middle, which, yeah, I'm afraid it's hard to see once it's on the connected side. Facebook, I set up a group called, what's it called? Join the Fold? Origami to beat boredom, I think. Yeah. And that's also another place I share when I'm doing things too. There we go. How's it going? Are any of you managing any of this? It's not an easy one. So I've sort of folded most of it. No, yeah, the NHS email is best. Yes, definitely. Oh, wow, fantastic. Yes, please do get in touch. Oh, very valuable work. Yeah, thank you for all you do. That would be very lovely to make those contacts. Please do get in touch. Yeah, and obviously outside of UCLH, I do work with other hospitals, but it's usually things like funding from the hospital charities. But it's a good way of offering some support, particularly for staff. There we go. So next, obviously this isn't the kind of thing I'd normally teach. Next, if you're thinking about the crane, you normally kind of open up this side and bring it upwards, and that's what you've got to do here. But obviously in this case it's attached, so it's not easy. I think I'll do the side that's the easiest to show you first of all, which is just like a normal crane. There we go. So opening this up and bring it up in on itself so you can recognize it. Now this is the tricky bit. As you can see, it's attached front and bottom, and I think I'm going to have to concentrate fully. Probably you'll find your tongue sticking out this point. So I'm bringing it up and also being mindful of moving the paper around and then folding it in on itself. This is not easy to demonstrate because most of all you can't really see. But really what I suggest is you become very familiar folding cranes and then you can take it from there. And it's only really in your own hands that you'll find how to do it right. Oh, sort of done one side. Can you see there's a heart? It's beginning to look a bit like a bird there. There we go. Right, how are you getting on? Consider this a challenge. Did you want me to show you the next one? As I said, to be honest, it's something which will only make sense in your own hands, and consider a puzzle, and then it may take many attempts and patience, but the feeling of satisfaction of doing something difficult is just second to none. So in terms of which way to fold, obviously it's a bit hard to show you, but there's a heart there and there's the back of the wing there. So again, if you're looking at the square, you don't fold that side that's attached to the heart. So you need to turn the page, and I'm going to again take the bottom and bring that up to that halfway line. You can see it's very contorted, tricky to do. It's looking like that. I might go on the back because that's the easiest to show you first of all. So I'm not doing the side that would have a heart on it. Okay, I'm doing it as a normal crane. I'll see what I'm doing. It was a little bit hard folding straight into a camera. Maybe you could think of other things you could cut from it, but I think the heart feels just perfect to me. Hopefully a good innovation on those slots. Oh, excellent. Excellent. Well done, Stephen. Yeah, it's practice. That's fantastic. That's exciting. So you managed to get to the end of, yeah, it's not easy to do it neat. And as I said, my 4, I mean, it's okay, but it looks a bit messy. It does look a bit messy. I don't know if you've opened out your cranes yet, but I find the opening out and the adding the heads help with this actually. But I will get there. Yeah, it's one which, to be honest, you need the principle of what you're doing. You can't, I don't think you can easily watch someone in order to copy this one. You just need to be very familiar with folding a crane and then apply it to both sides. But it's easier said than done. Again, opening up that layer. Oh, let's fold over that triangle. Give a little bird's mouth. Don't know if you've got hearing any baby birds around at the moment. We've got a box that my dad made for blue tits, and it's had little babies in. They're so noisy. We spotted a magpie was trying to fish for babies. It had some food in its beak and was trying to give food through there. It was clearly trying to fish for babies, which is pretty mean. While you're there, you can fold that inwards. So if you're finding this difficult, you know, to be expected, it's not easy. I think this, I have to say, doing these connected cranes has been the most challenging thing I've ever done. So, well, I don't know ever done, but with the origami, I think not easy. Yeah, go for it. I'd love to see what you do, Stephen. Love to see the experiment at all. Well, I suppose, I mean, any origami you could do is connect it, couldn't you? Or do different things together. It's just surprisingly hard adding that connection. But you could do 2 different folds, couldn't you, I suppose? But it's connected as one piece of paper. Just rather fun. There you go. Oh, and it's this last bit where you're folding into the middle. It's something that's completely curved, or else it would break. It is not easy. I am almost there. How about anybody else? You're probably just feeling the most focus you ever have, or maybe the most frustrated you ever have been. I don't know. Not quite ever, but it's definitely difficult. I hope you've taken away some principles of it anyway. I thought maybe it's nice to do something to up the stakes for once. Oh, excellent. Well, that's good. That's good money. That's all progress. This is a very difficult thing to do. As I said, this has taken me quite a while to master. So it's not surprising you've had no warning. There it goes. I'm try to bring the heads up. It's not easy. Trying to do it all while not breaking it. Easier said than done. This one's a parrot at the moment. At the end, if it does work well, it looks as if it's been simple, but it's really not. It is for the most advanced. So it's looking sort of like that for me. And it's opening out the wings, I find, in the body that helps quite a bit. Let's see. So, and also adding the heads. So at the moment there's no heads. So it's trying to add a head underneath the heart, behind the heart. So you've got the heart there. Putting your thumb in and then trying to treat it as if it's a head, even though it's attached to a heart. Oh, it's difficult. Obviously your neck is a bit shorter because of the addition of the heart. But maybe, just maybe, you've got 2 cranes with the heart, and maybe you could nice little offering. I often find they're in different positions. This is a little bit of a different position to this one, so they really vary. I'm going to colour in my heart too. But as I said, the colouring it only afterwards because I found can weaken the paper. And I think, to be honest, as with an origami, it really is your own achievement to fold something. And if you can fold this, you deserve a very big pat on your back. Oh, fair enough. Yes. Well, it makes sense. It's much easier to do it that way. But it is quite nice if you can get the heads there, then they're holding the heart. And it actually brings the heart down into a better position as well. You see? There we go. Maybe you can feel a sense of relief if it's over, or maybe it's something you'll continue to do. But I hope maybe that's been something of a treat. It's really nice sharing this with you. And yeah, Philip, do get in touch. Wishing the best with your work. Yeah. Take care, everyone. So, how have you got on? Have any of you managed? It's great to hear from some of you that you have. Oh, wow. Oh, that's exactly it, Adrian. Yes, it's tricky, Adrian. So don't give up. Treat it as an ongoing project. It's, as I said, I think it's the hardest thing I've shared. And it came from me being determined, very determined. Be like a dog with a bone or a crane with a heart. Done. Well done. That's fantastic. Did it look anything? Did it sort of look right? Did it work? I don't know whether you were able to get that together. I hope so. Yeah. So wishing you all a good couple of weeks. I guess I'm back. I haven't checked my diary. Assume 2 weeks later, but I will put details if it's not 2 weeks. So I hope that's okay. Yeah. And happy folding. Would love to see some photographs if any of you want to share. Yeah, it's tricky, Adrian, and it's an ongoing process, I think, until you produce one that you can be proud of. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye. Happy folding.